Jeannette, daughter of McCullough, Gorton, County Tyrone, and great-granddaughter of Nicol from Scotland. I'm a registered nurse and an educator and a shamanic practitioner. The latter is where I truly live. That's one story. As a young man in the north, my father blew up a bridge that was strategic to the Black and Tans. As a result of that, he fled. His village collected money for him to flee the country. He made his way to Canada. He made a home there. He recreated the Troubles, a Catholic man who married a Protestant woman who refused to give her children over to the Catholic Church. So I just stayed in war, I was born into war, and I lived in war. And religion was poison. And I was lost, and the spirits found me. And they held me, and they comforted me, and they supported me, and they made it possible for me to have life. I was the kind of kid that had cats follow her home. They followed me home. They found me wherever I was. They followed me home, and they stayed with me, and they were medicine for me. That's another story. My first Irish identity was through the rebel songs and the drinking songs that my father brought into our home. The rebel songs particularly I loved. I felt the power of the songs. My father also sang sad songs and would become very distant. His eyes would well with tears. He would long for his home, which he knew he would never return to. We didn't understand this as kids, but we felt his sorrow. We felt his longing. We felt his yearning. He never talked about Ireland. He never, ever, 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 ever talked about Ireland. Whenever any of us, my mother included, ever heard any songs in Gaelic, we all cried. In preparation for this trip, Emer loaned me a book called Irish Spirit, a collection of very short pieces written by mostly people like me who were born elsewhere, who were attempting to find their way home, who helped me to find my way home through offering me their many, many different perspectives on this land and being in this land and the history of this land and the fairies of this land and the poets of this land and the singers of this land and the songwriters of this land and the rebels of this land. And when we were at Lochine, which seems forever ago now, I had my first knowing, my first remembrance of this land when I put my hands on the moss that was growing on a tree. I knew this place. I knew this place. And that feeling kept growing in me and growing in me and growing in me in the area of Skibbereen. I knew that there was something waiting for me here. In the healing work that I have been doing, what kept coming up and what has come up all my life, even though I was born into a family that didn't have a lot but had enough, I have always had a fear of going hungry and being destitute and having nothing. So I knew I was going to find some healing here. And it was in Skibbereen, and it was in the cemetery. It was in the famine cemetery. And once again, I remembered being here, walking on the land that contained all the mass graves. And releasing the pain that I've carried for decades, unknowingly. And then I went to the Famine Museum, and there's a painting there of people, starving people, collecting moss and dulse from the rocks to eat. And I knew I had done that. And there were also images of sketches, actually, that were made for the English newspapers. Even though there was huge reportage of what was going on here in text and in images, people didn't believe it. There was a sketch that also was very familiar to me of bodies being loaded onto a cart, one on top of another, on top of another, on top of another, and the carts being taken to the cemetery. And I knew that too. I knew that. Today is a great day. That day was a great day in my life. That day was a great day in my life. And I am so thankful to have this life that I do, this precious life that I do, pain and all. And I'm not carrying as much with me as when I arrived a week ago. And I thank Emer and Ed and all the rest of our gang, our messy lot. I mean, we've scared people, I think. 3 people are new to our gang over the last couple of days, and they kind of get, they just got dropped into this I don't know what to call it anymore, this soup that we've become, in this cauldron that we've been living in. So it's great to be here. Thank you so much to those of you who have made this possible for us at Maynooth. I'm deeply grateful to you. And to all of you who've come to be with us today.